All right, today is the day. And today we're going to be looking at mounting, or at least positioning, our intercooler, getting some brackets built to place it there. Won't be permanent, of course, right now because we've got lots of things in that area, fuel tank being one of them. But before we jump over there and look at that, I wanted to talk a little bit about subscribers, people viewing this channel on YouTube. Thank you very much for coming and watching my videos. But I've noticed in the analytics of YouTube that most of the viewers coming to see this channel are coming from outside the United States. Mostly Britain and in India. And then of course other countries, about 19 others it shows me. And very interesting that there would be viewers that come and see, especially wondering how many of you watch the channel but don't watch it in English, have to use the translator on Google or some other way to see it. Anyway, love to see comments in this video about those from out of the United States, how they're viewing this channel. Also, wondering what kind of access do you people have when you're not here in the United States? And of course, even in the United States, it's a struggle to find materials if you're in a more rural area. I'm on what they call the I-5 corridor, which is a highway that runs all the way up the western United States, between all the states. And so we have a lot of trucking that goes on. We can get almost anything here in the valley that we're in. But wondering what it's like in other places throughout the world, if there's a big difficulty in finding materials for doing a project like this. Like finding fiberglass, carbon graphite, epoxy, composite materials. Like I said, looking for comments to see what it's like for people out there. And maybe metals, what it's like for you to find metals. Here I have a little yard. Almost like walking into a store to buy food. We can just go in and find the metals, used metals or new metals. Like I said, we're in a pretty good industrial area and have access to those kind of things. But what's it like in your area? Also, what's the car culture like in your area? Very curious about these kind of things for people in other areas of the world. Anyway, like I said, put some comments in there. Love to find out where you're at, where you're watching this video from. But anyway, let's go see that mounting the intercooler today. So this whole bracket system is going to be made out of some stainless steel. Had some sheet metal, bent a couple into some angled brackets. And those will be bolted right to the side of the intercooler. The intercooler came with some threaded bungs, 4 of them on each 4 corners. So fasten that bracket on with a bolt. And then I'm going to use some just a 3/8 stainless steel tubing to go from bracket to bracket. And once I try that in position, I can mark it with a pen so I can take it off and weld it. I'm not going to go through the whole welding process in this video. Just know the magic of video editing. I'm taking off, going to the other room and welding these pieces. Anyway, bring it back, see that it fits in position. Now I've got to move to a front there. So my very fancy positioning system, cardboard box and a piece of wood. Get that thing in the position it needs to be in. Go for the second mount. Like I said, that angled bracket is already bolted to the intercooler. Trying my tubing to length. It looks like a little long. I'm going to run off now and cut it. Come back and try it. And everything seems to fit. So I'll take my pen again, mark it, make sure that when I leave the room, I can have it in the right position. And then it's, of course, off to weld it. So once I got these two done, the far side, I can't quite build those two yet because I have some other components below it that need to be finished first. But we're going to take the fancy support system out, the buckets in the box, so that we can see what's needed on that other side. Found some zip ties. I'll just hang it by the bodywork. As I take my fancy bucket system out. I got the two here. Now these two are connected. The front one goes down to the mount to the transmission. And then the other one goes down to the motor mount itself. So for you to fully understand how this is going to work, you have to take you on this little tour here. But we're going to have our two outputs from our turbocharger. They're going to merge together and go through a tube here in the bulkhead. And then they're going to come out the other side, but we'll take you around here so you can see where they come through. This will be cut out, and there'll be a tube that runs across. And then on that far side, you can see 3 of them there. The far one is the intercooler manifold, but the other ones are bulkhead connectors for the electronics. And there will be a whole panel in here of upholstery and some more fiberglass structural pieces that'll cover up the electronics and that turbocharger intercooler tubing. So now back over to where the intercooler comes out. Okay, and then when you get to this side, this is where that other hole comes through. So right back in there, it's about 4 inches away from the bulkhead right now, but that's the input to the intercooler. Output, of course, throttle body will be sitting here, tubing will run around, connect to that. But here's the system I'm using to mount this thing. Now we're getting kind of confined space here, but you can see these stainless steel brackets and these stainless steel tubes. This one is going to go down because there is another bracket that I'm having cut right now that comes out, sticks right across here because that holds the fuel cell. The fuel cell fits right in this area, and then up slightly below the intercooler over here, back in, filling this whole area. About 13 gallons should be plenty for a car like this. Anyway, this tube, like I said, will be connected to that bracket or brace that holds the fuel cell in there. All these little brackets need to get welded on here to be mounting points for that fuel cell. That is a video coming up. The fuel cell, we're going to be building it out of aluminum with a flexible liner, because you see this is kind of an unprotected area, side impact. We want to make sure that that fuel cell doesn't leak if it gets impacted and the aluminum gets torn. But that is the placement of the intercooler. Of course, come around here, we'll see we haven't filled in this duct yet, but this duct will come and curve, force the air down through the top of the intercooler. Fuel filler will go right in here. Of course, this will all be filled in. If you remember that other video that's already been filled in, that will be similar. I'll show you one more thing on these brackets, I guess. So these brackets have 2 holes. This one here, of course, is for mounting the intercooler itself. This hole here will be for another shroud that comes off the bottom of the intercooler. There'll be a fan mounted back in here so I can pull more air through, keep that thing cooled off nicely. There you are. The intercooler is getting close, but as you can see, there's lots of things around it that are key in getting that thing finished. That seems to be the way the project is right now. When I go to work on one part, there's something else that needs to be finished so that I can tie that together. But I believe really soon a lot of those things are going to all work together and just start coming together, and we're going to see this thing moving along a little more rapidly. Anyway, thanks for coming by today, and come back and see us again.